Picture this: a small-town girl from Iowa steps onto the court, and suddenly the whole basketball world can't look away. That's Caitlin Clark's story, and now she's got the NBA begging TV networks to shell out $200 million for WNBA rights. How did we get here? Let's break down Clark's journey from unknown to unstoppable force. Please like this video to make Caitlin Clark and the WNBA bigger than the NBA. You want scoring records? Clark shattered them like glass ceilings. She became the all-time leading scorer in NCAA Division I basketball history. Men's or women, can you believe that a small-town girl from Iowa outscoring legends like Pete Maravich and Kelsey Plum? But it wasn't just about the numbers. Clark had this uncanny ability to make impossible shots look easy. Remember that logo three-pointer against Louisville in the Elite Eight, the one where she was practically in the parking lot? That shot didn't just win the game, it broke the internet. Speaking of breaking the internet, let's talk about how Clark became a social media sensation. Her highlight reels spread faster than gossip in a small town. 1 minute she's draining a half-court buzzer beater, the next she's trending on Twitter with millions of views. You might be thinking, okay, but lots of players go viral. True, but Clark's popularity wasn't just a flash in the pan. It translated into real measurable impact. Her games were drawing 3 to 4 times more viewers than average WNBA games. That's not just impressive. Think about it. When was the last time you saw people fighting over tickets to a women's college basketball game with Clark on the court? Arenas were selling out left and right, and it wasn't just in Iowa. When she played on the road, it was like a rock star came to town. Now you might be wondering, wait, what makes Clark so special? It's not just her skill, though that's off the charts. It's her style of play. She's got this fearless, no holds barred approach that's just electric to watch. 1 second she's threading an impossible pass, the next she's pulling up from way downtown. You never know what she's going to do next, but you know it's going to be spectacular. And here's where it gets really interesting. Clark's popularity isn't just changing how people watch women's basketball, it's changing how they think about it. Suddenly people who never gave women's hoops a second thought are tuning in. They're buying jerseys, they're talking about the game at work the next day. Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, even acknowledged Clark's influence. He's basically saying, hey, this girl is changing the game. We need to pay attention and pay attention. They did. The NBA started pushing for bigger deals, better coverage, more exposure for the WNBA. You've heard about Caitlin Clark's incredible rise to stardom, but did you know she's also solving a problem that's been plaguing the WNBA for years? That's right, the league has been struggling with viewership and financial independence since its inception, and it's not for lack of talent or exciting games. The WNBA has some of the best athletes in the world, but for some reason people just weren't tuning in. Let's break it down. Before Clark came along, the WNBA's media rights deal was only worth $60 million per year. That might sound like a lot, but in the world of professional sports, its pocket changed. To put it in perspective, the NBA's media deal is worth billions. The WNBA was barely getting crumbs off the table. Why such a low deal? Well, it all comes down to viewership. WNBA games were only averaging between 200,000 to 400,000 viewers per game. That's not exactly the kind of numbers that make TV networks want to open up their wallets. It's a classic chicken and egg situation. The league needed more exposure to grow its audience, but it couldn't get better TV deals without a bigger audience. So what changed? How did Clark's popularity actually impact the league's bottom line? Well, remember how we talked about Clark's games drawing 3 to 4 times more viewers than average WNBA games? That's not just a fun fact, it's a game changer. TV networks suddenly realized there was a massive untapped audience for women's basketball. They just needed the right star to bring them in. And Clark, she's not just a star, she's A supernova. Now here's where it gets really exciting thanks to Clark. Her new WNBA team, the Indiana Fever, is about to get more national TV exposure than ever before. Can you believe they're now booked for 36 out of 40 regular season games on national TV? That's not just a little bump in coverage, that's a seismic shift. Think about what this means. Suddenly, millions of people who might never have watched a WNBA game before will be tuning in to see Clark play, and once they're watching, they might just discover that, hey, this league is pretty awesome. But it's not just about the Fever. Clark's popularity is lifting all boats. Other teams are getting more attention to. The league as a whole is benefiting from the Clark effect, and it's not just about TV ratings. Social media engagement is through the roof. Merchandise sales are skyrocketing. Ticket sales are booming. It's like Clark flipped a switch and suddenly everyone realized how exciting women's basketball could be. You might be thinking, okay, but is this just a temporary boost? What happens when the novelty wears off? That's a fair question. NBA demand. But here's the thing, Clark isn't just bringing in casual viewers, she's creating diehard fans. People who tune in to see Clark are staying for the incredible athleticism, the nail-biting games, and the pure love of the sport. This is the kind of exposure the WNBA has been dreaming of for years. It's not just about one player, it's about showcasing the entire league to a whole new audience. And once people see what they've been missing, they're hooked. Remember how we talked about Clark's impact on viewership? Well, that was just the warm-up. Now the NBA is stepping in, and they're not playing around. They're demanding $200 million for WNBA media rights. You heard that right, $200 million. Can you believe it? That's more than triple the previous deal. We're not talking about a little bump here. This is a massive leap that could change everything for the WNBA. But why such a big jump? It all comes down to Clark's star power. The NBA saw what was happening with viewership and said, hold up, we're sitting on a gold mine here. They recognized that Clark wasn't just a flash in the pan. She was bringing in viewers, creating buzz, and most importantly, proving that there's a huge market for women's basketball. Now you might be thinking, okay, but why is the NBA pushing for this? Well, here's where it gets really interesting. The NBA isn't just passively watching from the sidelines, they're actively advocating for the WNBA's financial interests. When the Endeavor Group came in with an initial offer of $125 million, the NBA didn't just nod and say thanks. They looked at that offer and said, nope, not enough. They knew the WNBA was worth more, and they weren't afraid to demand it. You know what this reminds me of? It's like when you're selling your car and someone comes in with a lowball offer, but instead of accepting it, you've got a car expert friend who steps in and says, no way, this baby's worth way more than that. That's what the NBA is doing for the WNBA right now. But here's the real kicker. This deal isn't just about the money, it's about securing the WNBA's future. We're talking about a deal that could run from 2026 to 2036. That's a whole decade of financial stability and growth potential. Think about what this could mean for the league: more resources for player development, better facilities, increased marketing budgets, the ability to attract top talent from around the world. This isn't just a payday, it's a game changer. And you know who said it best? Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner. He's been pretty vocal about Clark's impact on the league. He's basically saying, hey, we've got something special here, and we need to capitalize on it. But let's get real for a second. This isn't just about Caitlin Clark. She might be the catalyst, but this deal is about recognizing the value of the entire WNBA. It's about acknowledging that women's basketball deserves this level of investment and attention. You might be wondering, what does this mean for the players? Well, imagine you're a young girl shooting hoops in your driveway right now. This deal could mean that by the time you're ready for the WNBA, you could be looking at salaries that are triple or even quadruple what they are now. That's not just life-changing for individual players, it's transformative for the entire sport. All right, let's talk about what this $200 million deal really means for women's basketball. We're not just talking about a bigger paycheck for a few star players. This could change the entire landscape of the sport. First up, let's talk money. WNBA players have been underpaid for years, but that's about to change in a big way. With this new deal, we could see player salaries triple or even quadruple. Can you imagine going from making $100,000 a year to suddenly pulling in $400,000? That's life-changing money right there. But it's not just about the players who are already in the league. Think about all the young